Locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob
Well, they
Brown
can
Show.
hear us, even though they can't see us. That's why. Yeah, that's. I mean, you know.
Upstate.
What up, y'all? Welcome in the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the fan of Upstate. Howdy. How's everybody? Happy week. Midweek. Happy week. Just happy all the days.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to listen later because you know the music doesn't go on the thing. So
even
it's
the
just,
intro doesn't?
No.
Oh, well, that's cool.
So
Somebody
it's
on
just
the
gonna be
street just
going
got-
dang, dang, dang.
Down,
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Aaron Rodgers went 8 for 20 with 7 straight incompletions yesterday.
What, in practice?
It's over for the Jets.
Look out.
It's over for the Jets, y'all. They're done. You been watching Hard Knocks?
I watched the first one,
Yeah.
and man, I'm concerned about something. I want to talk to Chris because I think changes were made that are causing everything to be recorded.
Oh, good. Good start to the day.
Yeah.
Good start to the day.
I watched the first one. I forgot it was on last night. I'll watch it maybe tonight or something.
Robert Salah is an intimidating bleeper. You know what I mean? Like the dude's just, you know what he looks like? He looks like the bad guy in a Brendan Fraser movie from the mid 90s.
I could also see him on some sort of FBI show.
100%.
Yeah.
Good guy or bad guy.
Yeah.
He can play either side, and I believe it. Robert Salah is an intimidating dude. I don't really think we should, frankly, talk Jets preseason football. But I do need to catch up on Hard Knocks.
I'm a little concerned about the Jets. They look really good.
I don't know what's happening, but Greeny is freaking out. He just went up and took the Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey off the wall, and he's just marching around the studio with it. What is happening, my guy? Calm down.
It's his team, so he's just excited. I mean, you know.
I mean, I get it. Okay, I don't want to talk about the Jets. We got too much other stuff to talk about.
And we'll probably have plenty of time to talk about them during the season if they're as good as they look like they might be.
I want you to know, in a throwback to a segment we did earlier this week, Lonzo, that yesterday evening.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yesterday evening, the fiance and I, because we are almost 40 years old, decided to once again have another date night. And where did we go, Lonzo? Where did we go on our date night?
You didn't go see Sublime.
Correct.
You went to Costco.
Correct. 2 for 2. Because about the time 6 o'clock ran around, I was like, I just want to not. I don't want to do anything.
Well, it's those grueling days of you know what we do here, you know, all the stress.
Yeah, it's very hard work. So it got to be about time to get dressed and head out to the concert, and I was like, nah, bruh. I'll get the reports from the amigos that are there. And she said, what if we go to Costco? And I was like, date night? And she went, oh yeah, date night. Lady friend loves some Costco. All right. She is in a great mood when we hit the Costco. So we're driving to the Costco last night, and we get on, what interstate is this? 385, 85, whichever one this one is right here. The one that brings you from Taylor's to here, right?
You don't know the road that you're on when you
Why do I need to? It's there every day. They don't move it. It's that you go out of my house, you go down that road, you take a left, you take a right, you get on the interstate.
You're asking me about directions. That's not a good move. It's either 385 or 85. I believe
I know that.
Yeah, I believe it's 385.
All right, whatever one
wrong.
it is. It is let's see.
It's probably 85.
385
is over there.
Sure. Why not?
Because I do drive 385 every day.
It is. All right. So I'm coming down 385 last night on my way to the Costco because a lady friend needed some romance in her life, and That's what gets it going. We're driving down 385, and ahead of us is a dude on a motorcycle. Now, I'm a motorcycle guy, right? Got Honda VTX 1300. Love that bad boy. Ride it all the time.
Is this guy hopefully not on a crotch rocket driving in between cars?
No,
like I've seen quite a bit lately.
He was on a big fat boy on a Harley Davidson. And again, as a motorcycle guy, I appreciate motorcycles. So like I see a motorcycle, it's like kids with fire trucks. I see a motorcycle. I'm like, ooh, look at that. That's a fun toy. Right. So we end up behind this dude.
Yeah. I see sports cars and I just, cool.
Sure thing.
I cool nod. They cool nod.
100%.
It's a thing.
Us motorcycle dudes, we got like a wave we do to each other. Right. It's like a whole thing. Jeep guys have it. Corvette guys have it. Beetle guys have it.
I don't know about Beetle guys.
I assume they do.
Say that 3 times.
I know Jeep guys do. I know motorcycle guys do. I know Corvette guys do. So we're driving behind this cat, and I realize, Lonzo, that he is in light colored golf pants, and my man has on a massive case of swampicitis. Just to the point that without saying anything, the fiance goes, "Oh." I was like, yeah, no, he feels the same way.
All right, really so was this a large man?
He's a sturdy fella.
Okay,
sturdy fella.
So we got overflow on either side of the seat.
Oh, dude.
Okay, all right.
A massive case of swampicitis going on. It was absolutely brutal. Like if that dude was going anywhere but home, I don't know what he's doing in his life.
I'm glad you said home after butt because I was worried for a second.
Not just home, but home and straight to a shower and to burn those khakis. So I looked at her and I went, hey, I got to tell you, did a really funny segment the other day where we were talking about swampicitis, and I had to make up the term swampicitis so I wasn't dropping the SA on Lonzo over and over in the segment. And she went, how did you win another trophy? I thought probably because of segments like swampicitis. That is probably the reason. I cannot say for a certainty that won't be in next year's submission.
At least one of those makes it into every
year.
Yeah. You got.
What do we have in there this year? We had what food segment do we have? We had a food segment in there.
Did we?
Yeah.
I know we had Beamer Can't Dance. I know we had Shivani and the earring.
Yep.
We had sports in there too.
Did we? Did we waste valuable time with
I'm
that?
pretty sure we talked about moral versus morale victories.
Yeah, that was in there for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know. Was bacon in there? I think bacon was in there.
I think a bacon segment was in there.
I think it was bacon. I think that's the food segment that made it.
Bacon segment's got to be in there, right? Like, it's required. Anyway, she looks at me and she goes, you did an entire segment on the swamp butt. I said, no, we did it on swampicitis. It's a chronic affliction that really impacts 30 young fellas in the southeast region of the United States of America. We all suffer.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah. We all suffer from it. And she just went, how did you win another trophy? I said, I got news for you about next year. We're going for a third. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a big show lined up for you today.
How should you take the fact that now you're winning?
I'm not. We're tied.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She has 2. I have 2.
Right. So maybe this is her way of getting in your head so you don't pass her up.
Well, she was, again, for the record, our relationship is wonderful, but we're both uber competitive. And so when I told her that Zoe and I got nominated, she has 2 Star Awards as well for commercial writing and production. And so when I told her that I was nominated again this year, she's like, oh, congratulations. You can tie me finally. I was like, oh, dope. Cool. Yeah, no, I'm nominated for 2. And she went, oh. So then when I got one of the 2 and not the other one, I'm not entirely sure she wasn't like, don't worry. Listen, you're a finalist. You should be proud of that. You should be proud of the work you put in. And we're still tied, sucker.
Wow.
So she's got like 359 days left to gloat.
She might actually be thinking that. That's just
100%.
She might actually,
100%. Ain't no doubt about it. Texas said, speaking of Swampasitis, playing golf at 3 p.m. in June in South Carolina, your shorts will change freaking colors. Yeah, no, for sure. My man Lucas Glover brought the affliction of Swampasitis to the common knowledge.
So if you're playing with if you got a foursome going out there, do you not get made fun of about that?
It depends on how bad it is. Like if you just got like a layer of moist going on, you know, we also like even the skinny people suffer from just that marine layer.
That light,
know what I mean?
light sheen.
Yes.
Okay.
When it gets to the point that your khakis are mistaken for gray, like, dude, those shorts don't match your shirt. And you're like, they did when we started the round. That's when you start getting the cracks. Get it?
I got it.
It was a good joke, but it's time to move on. We got a big show for you lined up today. Braves complete another dub over the Yankees yesterday. 5-0 win.
Wow.
Marcell Ozuna with the dinger early in the game.
They might be all right this year.
Hey, they're all right. They're not bad. On the flip side, Dodgers have now won 9 in a row. I am not as comfortable as everybody else saying that the Braves are faux shizzle your NL champions this year.
Game over.
They are still 5 games up on the Dodgers right now, but the Dodgers have won 9 in a row. They get one tonight. It moves to the 10. Y'all know I love me some last 10, right? I like to look at the last 10 games. Trends are important. Teams get streaky in baseball. Braves, good news, are 7-3 in their last 10. One of those came against the Mets in the series finale on the road, a series in which saw them the night before that put up 21 runs on New York. I'm not ready to say that the Dodgers can't run Atlanta down, though. That's a good team.
21, you got a pretty good shot at winning in baseball, I think, if you score 21.
Yeah. Would I have to double check to make sure I didn't accidentally click over to the NFL side? Which I didn't, because the Falcons ain't scoring 21. Brandon, what's up, fella? You're in good shape. Orioles are now 6-4 in their last 10. They are at 74-46. They are 3 games up on the Rays in the AL East. The Rangers and Astros have 3.5 games separating them. We'll talk some baseball later on in the radio broadcast. We got a lot of college football coming up today, including in the second hour of the radio broadcast, where I will give you my projected order of finish in the Southeastern Conference. I did this with the ACC earlier this week. We will continue with the SEC today. Second hour of the show. We go team by team, 14 up to 1. I will let you know my projected order of finish, and I want you guys to give me your thoughts on that. James, good work. Said, hey, the Falcons scored 28 once. Yeah, they did. I remember that game very well. And if Brandon was still watching, he's not now. Anyway, we'll talk SEC projected order of finish later in the show. The NBA yesterday released not only the schedule of the in-season tournament that will run this year, but the name of it. Branding for the NBA at its finest, as this year, every team in the National Basketball Association will be competing for the NBA Cup.
Nope.
Let me state that one more time. The NBA finally got the in-season tournament that Adam Silver has been begging for oh so very long, and they have named it the NBA Cup.
Nope.
Gotta love that. I mean, just branding at its absolute finest.
Poof.
What a clip. So we'll get to that later on. I am not gonna lie. I'm still taking everything out of me, Lonzo, not to bring up Zuck v. Musk yet. Got Fight Club tomorrow.
You know what?
Are you promising me it's going to be in Fight Club?
No, I'm not.
Is it going to be in Fight Club? If it's not going to be in Fight Club, we're talking about it today.
You keep suggesting it. I don't know. I haven't kept up with it. I haven't. I'm not into it like you are, I guess.
I need to know. I need to know if it's going to be in Fight Club.
Dude, if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it.
All right, we're probably going to talk Zuck v. Musk later.
I got plenty of other stuff. We're good.
All right, good. Probably going to talk Zuck v. Musk later. A fight that I very much want to happen, but is not going to. We'll talk about that. Angel Hernandez is hilariously bad at his job. And for the, I don't know, second, third, fourth, fifth, 12th time, he brought a lawsuit against MLB, and a judge went, nah, dog. Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope.
Thanks, Darby. On top of that, not only did Angel Hernandez get once again slapped down by a judge over a lawsuit he brought up against MLB, but on top of that, Angel Hernandez has now found his way once again to the bottom of the umpire efficiency rankings. He missed 15 calls in the most recent game he was behind the plate.
How many did you get right?
It doesn't matter.
What's the average ratio of good to bad calls on a normal game?
Higher than Angel Hernandez's.
I don't know. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, and I'm answering him. The answer is Angel Hernandez is bad at his job.
I'm just trying to make sure that you don't have a vendetta against this guy. Just,
Nope, he's just bad at his job. We'll talk about that later on, maybe. We'll see. I don't hating on Angel Hernandez. But I also want to ask you guys, you Clemson fans, you South Carolina fans, we'll get some talk for you today. What is, in your opinion, what is the realistic expectation that you have for your offense under your new offensive coordinator? And what is your opinion on the other, right? So from Clemson fans, I want to know, what is your realistic, not optimistic, not super fan, what is your realistic expectation for Garrett Reilly's offense?
Yeehaw!
South Carolina fans, what is your realistic expectation for Dowell Loggains' offense? That actually sounds about right. And then, while you're at it, what's your realistic expectation for the other guy's offense? I want to get the good and the bad, right? I feel like most fans, not all, most fans have a difficult time taking off their fan cap to give an objective reality. So let's meter it out by hearing what the most pessimistic view is from your rivals. And then we'll take a look at it. Give me numbers, give me stats, give me thoughts, give me schemes. What do you think? What is the most realistic expectation for your offense under your new coordinator and their offense under theirs? We're going to do that and spend some time taking a look at those two offenses. As this hour continues, we got baseball, we got soccer. Leo Messi scored again as Inter Miami put up a 4 spot on Philly in the semis last night. Lionel Messi has played 6 games. He has 9 goals. That is statistically a lot of the goals.
Isn't that kind of what you do when you're like one of the best in the world?
Not one of.
Okay, the best. All right. No.
We'll talk about Lionel Messi later. Also, congratulations to the Lionesses of England who put away the home team Aussie this morning in the Women's World Cup semifinals. Our finals are set. Coming up Saturday morning, 6 a.m. The Lionesses of England will take on Spain, España, in the Women's World Cup finals. And that is going to be a phenomenal match. We'll talk about that and their success, as well as Leo Messi. We're going to be all over the place. But when we come back here in just a minute, one college football analyst says he believes that Clemson will be the 2023 most overrated team. Ooh. Hot Take Express. We ride it. Choo-choo. That was terrible. Don't do that ever again, Rob. When we come back, he's the great one. I'm Rob Brown. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
Opinions, analysis, and entertainment all rolled into one sports talk show. This is the Rob Brown Show.
I'm glad you said it. Stick there, buddy. We're going to run those takes in just a little while. Right, it says 7 days from today, though, Ahsoka. I'm actually really excited about Ahsoka. Like, maybe more than most of the other projects they've put out.
Sunny skies today, high of 86.
Are you going to illustrate some handoffs?
66.
You know what? In order to do the Kate Klubnik workout, you actually have to have the ball. So, I mean, because it adds puts a little extra weight. Now, I know this isn't as
It's 75.
Thank you, Stephen. That is cool. See how many times I can fumble like Rob. And yes, you can tell him I said that because we all know how much he fumbles.
Reilly ought to hear for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch. Turns out place to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights.
Keegan, listen, here's the problem. I have to be careful because, you know, I already have enough that kind of is could be taken negatively. So moderation. And I got to be honest. I know he didn't like doing it, but I enjoyed the choo-choo.
What?
I thought the choo-choo was really good. I thought it was appropriate. I thought it was placed in the show exactly where it should have been. I thought it was an award-winning choo-choo. And if you go back and watch the video, I started to push the button to comment, and I did not because I couldn't add to the perfection. And sometimes it's better to know when to not say something. So it will not make the cart library.
It might for me. I might run myself for that. That was terrible.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, Mike, what are you doing there?
You know, that's a good question, James. And I don't care. I put some thought into that one. I really did. As far as Ahsoka goes, I am looking forward to it. I've watched some of Rebels to get myself acquainted with the with some of the characters that are in it because I wasn't quite sure who they were, and now I'm pretty sure I know the majority of them. There was no way I was going to watch like 7 or 8 seasons, however many seasons it is in time. So I'm going to be watching a whole lot of TV coming up here pretty soon. Because I don't know if you guys knew this or not. It's football season.
Is it just me and my optimism? Or did I feel just a touch of chill in the air this morning? Just a briefest of.
Oh, trust me, you did because it made my air stop working. So that's how I know for sure.
Still going to be 98 damn degrees tonight, right. But it felt just the fingertip of chill.
Yeah. It's been a cooler summer than what we've had before. So I mean, for a while. I think we've only had like one heat index warning day, and that was like this week. But it is getting daylight later. It's almost football season. It'll be September. It'll still be 90 here, but you know. What's perfect football weather? 70 degrees, right?
67 and sunny.
67. Nah, that's too cool. It's too cool. You don't want it to where when you're on the field, if you have some time in between, like if you're only playing on defense or standing on sidelines, you don't want to get cold.
What do you go with, 72 and
I said 70. I think there's a difference between 67 and 70.
Kevin, I'm not skipping baseball. I still talk baseball. It's just that this is the know your audience portion of the show. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Sorry, the two-time South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year, the Rob Brown Show, rolls on here on the Fan Upstate.
Yeah, I'm going to have to talk with you after the show because you're not saying that enough. I think people need to know.
I really apologize.
If they don't know. I mean, these people know.
Yep.
The people on the stream on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and the XYO, they all know.
If you don't know, now you know, player. Aaron Murray, former University of Georgia quarterback, is making his way around the world of college football media.
I had my fingers crossed he's going to say downtown. He's acting like he doesn't know the words. He knows the words.
And now I want. Okay.
When you
stop.
go downtown,
Stop.
do you not hear that in your head?
Anytime I hear the words "making my way,"
You're the one who said it. So I think it's influenced how you spoke, began this segment.
Okay, all right, stop it. So Aaron Murray is making his way around the college football media world. He is throwing his old hat in the metaphorical ring. He was on a show called Snaps with Aaron and T-Bob. You know who T-Bob is? T-Bob Hebert is Bobby Hebert's kid. Yes, he goes by T-Bob.
Is it like a Cajun sounding T-Bob or a Southern sounding T-Bob? Or is it like a this is my rap name, T-Bob?
His daddy was Bobby Hebert, the Cajun King.
Right. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify so I can hear it in my head every time you say T-Bob as Ed Orgeron saying T-Bob.
T-Bob, T-Bob Hebert, they go Tigers.
Or Farmer Fred from Waterboy.
Oh no, we suck again. There's a clip I got to grab after the show. Can't believe I haven't thrown that one in there yet.
Yeah, but when would you use it?
A shocking number of times. So anyway, Aaron and T-Bob were having a conversation where they were talking about who's over and who's underrated in the AP poll that dropped. And Aaron Murray said his answer is, and I quote, I still think Clemson. You're going to see a Clemson team that ends up somewhere closer to 15 when it's all said and done, which I guess isn't a massive drop. But when it comes to Clemson football, where they've been over the past decade, kind of losing control of the AC over the past decade, Aaron, decade, maybe like 3-4 seasons.
No, they've been pretty good for the last decade. Yeah. They have.
Anyway, where they've been over the past decade, kind of losing control of the ACC. Florida State on the rise, and we'll obviously see what Miami does this year as well. To me, we've thought about Dabo a little bit, maybe not being in touch with this new college football. I think if Florida State continues to do what they're doing on the recruiting trail, you see they're dominating. If they do win the ACC, say North Carolina and Miami also have good years, and Clemson's just good, not great, like a 9-3 team, I think that's a massive blow to that brand, end quote. Of course, Clemson last year finished the season 11-3, but they were a perfect 9-0 in the ACC. So I'm not exactly sure where Aaron gets losing control of the ACC because they were, again, undefeated in it. Ranked 12 in the final coaches poll, but of course that came after a 31-14 loss to Tennessee in the Orange Bowl. And again, nobody cares about those. I am at the point where bowl games are in the same rank as preseason polls for me. Are they important? Yes, but not for the reasons that you think they are. There's like bowl games, preseason polls, and NFL preseason scores. Are they important? Yeah, but not for the reasons you think they are.
Well, this is the last year you can say that. Next year, more bowl games will be important.
Correct. But there's
The heck did you just do? I got to tell you, if it hurt them as much as it hurt me, I don't know what that was.
yeah,
but
I don't know how I did that.
hey, man, don't do that anymore.
That was weird. NFL preseason game scores, bowl games, and preseason polls. They are important, but not like life or death important. They're important because of the things that they tell you about the teams involved, right? I don't care what the final score for a bowl game is. What I care about is seeing the extra practices, if those are utilized correctly. What I care about seeing is the young guys who get their shot at filling in for the guys who are leaving. Do they step up in competition? That's it. The score doesn't matter. They're like the points in whose line is it anyway. They don't matter. So I'm gonna go 11-2, 9-0 in the ACC. Anyway, 2022, Clemson missed the college football playoff for the second straight season, but still posted their 12th straight season with at least 10 wins. In the ACC title marked the Tigers' 7th conference crown in the last 8 seasons. They kick off against Duke on September 4th. I'm just going to say, Aaron, I actually don't disagree that the conference is catching up with Clemson. But I do think there is a difference between catching up with and, oh my God, everything's on fire. It's not. It's not. Clemson showed that there's still a destination with the hiring of Garrett Reilly. That dude was the single most sought after coach in the offseason. That's not a question. That's a statement. Garrett Reilly was on everybody's radar who needed a new OC. And where did he land?
I gotta say, is this dude better be good? He better be, for all the hype and all the controversy and everything that happened with his hiring. He better be good.
He brought Max Duggan to New York as a Heisman finalist and Texas Christian University to a national championship game last year. And they imploded in the final. But they did it against Georgia.
They were that fourth team. There's always that fourth team who doesn't belong there. And thank goodness we're going to 12. That will weed that out.
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. Not saying you're wrong. But Georgia was like real good last year.
The real national championship was between Georgia and Ohio State.
Yeah, I actually don't disagree with that.
So this guy, I mean, again, he is so hyped. I don't remember this much hype for an offensive coordinator. I don't. So if they struggle any at all, it's going to be interesting what people say.
I don't know. I think out of the gate, right? Like the biggest concern that I have is that FSU game being week 4 and not week 9, right? I'm not saying they won't have the kinks worked out of the system at that point. I'm saying they might not, right? Now, I can say the same thing about Florida State, although FSU does not have a new OC, quarterback, etc., right? FSU's established. The reason I told you guys last week, I've got FSU beating Clemson in the ACC championship game. And the reason I went with that is based on one thing. FSU is more established. They are more established at quarterback. They are more established at wide receiver. They are more established most places, and that includes the OC. I actually believe that Garrett Reilly is going to be a dude. I think he is absolutely going to end up being a guy that Clemson fans are going to love. I think he's fine. I think it's a good hire. I think it's a very interesting hire. I think, again, as we mentioned, it is without question the hire that everybody in college football was looking for. They were all looking for Garrett Reilly, and he ended up at Clemson. And I think that matters. It tells you that team is still a brand. That team is still noticed on the national scale. I don't see 9-3 for Clemson. Now, do I see spots that they could lose? Yes, we did this already. I'm not going to sit here and run over their whole schedule again. I have told you the spots, right? Florida State and then at Duke is a spot. Miami, NC State, both on the road, then Notre Dame at home is a spot. And North Carolina, South Carolina, first at home, second at Willie B is a spot. 10-2 is a possibility. I will say 9-3 is absolutely a possibility, not a likely one. I think that is the floor. The absolute floor is 9-3. The absolute floor, the worst they can do, the spot where I think people will start asking questions about Dabo is 9-3 or worse. But I think the floor is 9-3. And frankly, I got exactly zero patience for anybody who starts asking questions about Dabo just because they go 9-3. Will it be a bad year? Yes. Would that start moving the hot seat temperature up? Yes. And again, it's not because of its coaching, right? The coaching's great. Every player I've ever spoken to that played for Dabo Swinney has nothing but flowery compliments for him. But I will agree with Aaron Murray on something else he said elsewhere in that interview. And that is Dabo does not, and I've defended him here before because Dabo's worked the portal, right? He's worked the portal. But he does not seem to have the willingness to work it, say, as hard as a Mike Norvell. And if Florida State is better than Clemson this year, it is going to be because of the portal. It is going to be because of Johnny Wilson, Jordan Travis, Jaheim Bell, all guys that are going to be prominent offensive players for the Noles this year, all of whom are transfer players.
Do you think that it has something to do with how they vet their players and the kind of player that they're looking for, that it's harder for him to do it in the transfer portal? Because you're not going and sitting in the kid's living room, talking to his parents, talking to his friends, all that kind of stuff, finding out what kind of person they are. And you can't do that as much in the transfer portal.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think it has something to do with that. I absolutely think that there is something to be said about that.
And if you look at how he's built things in the past, it hasn't failed. So why go totally against that?
Because at this point, I don't think you have a choice but to anymore, right? Like I get the concept of wanting to go get Clemson guys. I get the concept of going to get guys who want to be here. We want to be part of this and what you're doing. And I respect that, right? I get that. I understand that. But I also think you are at a point where you don't really have the luxury anymore of allowing other guys to float out away from you that have the talent to plug gaps in that system. I think you are kind of at the point where you've got to be willing to bring in guys that played elsewhere, right? Because I know that there's a lot of people, and some of you guys listening are like this, right? If a guy hits the portal, you start hitting him with tags like disloyal. You start hitting them with tags like uncommitted, as opposed to going, that's a kid who wants to better himself, who wants to find a better position for more success. You know, like everybody else in America, by and large. And I think that to some degree, though he has not admitted it, well, if you take a look at some of the quotes, you can read into them. I'll put it that way. I think Dabo's a guy who wants guys who want to commit to and be a Clemson Tiger. Coach, I don't care if I never see the field. This is where I want to be. And I understand that. I'm just telling you that's an old school mentality that is going to get you in trouble. That mentality of, hey, you know what, Coach? Even if I never play a snap in this helmet, I want to be a Tiger. Again, I very much understand that mentality. I very much get it, right? If we're going to hire somebody to come work at this radio station, hell, when I got the job here, what was one of the questions I got asked? Where do you see yourself in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Do you feel like this could be a long-term place for you? The answer is yeah. Told the boss, I love this place. If I ever leave, it'll be because I get an offer that I come tell you what it is and you go, congratulations. That's awesome. That's it. Mike Norvell's the opposite. Norvell goes, that guy makes this position better. Get him the hell in here. He looked at 6'7" Johnny Wilson out of Arizona State and said, wait a minute. You're giving me a 6'7" guy with a 4.7 40 who, as long as the ball is underneath the lights of the stadium, he can go up and get it? That makes me better. Jaheim Bell is the perfect example, right? Because I am sure there are a lot of coaches. Lonzo, you looked at this. There are a lot of coaches that would have looked at the drama from his mama with Jaheim Bell, right? His family all up in the newspapers talking about he's not getting played enough. He's getting, which, by the way, they were right. Respectfully, they were right. But a lot of coaches, I think, would have taken the Lonzo mentality and went, man, I don't need that around my program. I don't need to have a kid that I got to worry every week. Is his mama and daddy going to start dropping bombs on Twitter that are going to make me look bad? But Mike Norvell looked and went, yo, this kid's a freak. He is built like a professional wrestler. He's got speed. He's got hands. And, oh, by the way, we can plug him in the backfield because he proved at South Carolina he can run the ball like a fullback too, and he's willing to, right? So Norvell said, forget all the drama from his mama. That kid makes our tight end room better. Let's go get him. And they did. And if, big if, capitalized, underlined, italicized, and bolded, if Clemson starts to get past starting this year, because it did not happen, starting this year, that's going to be the reason why. The reason why is going to be because other coaches are willing to take risk to bring in high-level talent that makes their team better, and Clemson is going, we just want a guy who wants to wear the tiger paw, whether or not he is going to be a megastar. Do I think Clemson's overrated? No. They're starting at number 9. I think 9's a fine slot for Clemson. And again, I picked FSU to win the conference. I got them at 8. That's a fine slot for Florida State. And we're going to find out by week 4 which of those is too high and which is too low, if any, right? If Florida State comes out and beats LSU, that game in week 4 gets way more interesting all of a sudden. Not that it's not already. Aaron Murray is wrong. Clemson is not the most overrated team in football. They're at 9. If they were at number 2, yes, I'd agree with this take. I don't think you're there yet. I don't think Clemson has proven they're a top 4 team in college ball. But they're not at 4 or 3 or 2 or 1. They're at 9. That's a good slot for them. We're going to find out. I do want to talk more about Will Shipley later in the show, though, as well. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute, wrap up the first hour of the show. Clemson fans, your thoughts on Aaron Murray's comments. Is 9 too high, too low, just right? If Clemson does go 9-3 and not play for an ACC title this year, are you going to start being concerned about the program's direction? Looking for you, Tiger fans. 844-326-3663 is the number to jump on the show. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. I wondered if you were going to sneak that in there at the end. DJ Chark, do.
Carolina Hurricanes have extended their arena lease in Raleigh through 2044. PNC Arena will undergo extensive renovation. The area around it will be converted into an entertainment district. Around the Miners Tuesday.
All right, guys, be back in 30 seconds. Don't go nowhere.
out of those joints again. Call QC Kinetics now for your free.
All right, I need to issue an apology. I said Farmer Fred. I've been corrected. It was Farmer Fran. In my defense, I was thinking Farmer Ted from 16 Candles. So I had those two mixed together, which is a weird thought.
Yep.
And I'll do better. Maybe.
I was embarrassed, frankly.
That's not something an award winner does. And, you know, I guess I'm in the decline. What can I say?
Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack. See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right.
I will answer for him if he hasn't answered. No, he did not go see Sublime. He went to
No, I did not
Costco.
go see Sublime.
He went to Costco.
He went to Costco.
Well, that's what you said in the first segment. You said you were going to go to Sublime, but
But
you
then I
went.
went to Costco, correct.
Yeah, so I was just,
Fiance wanted a date night,
I was recapping.
and
you know.
Costco
so
is a
recapping.
wonderful date night. Although we did the thing where we walked in with a list of 6 items and walked out with $300 in groceries. However, I did find a box of 42 carb-free, low-cal, semi-sweet granola bars. They're all in my bottom desk drawer. My whole bottom desk drawer is.
I don't know why you need to tell everybody where they are exactly. Is that so?
Really, just telling you, the stream just happens to be here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that to say if some
In case you
go
want a granola
missing?
bar,
Yeah,
there's
it's,
42 in there.
yeah, I'm good.
There's 41 in there now.
Go to AmericanEagle.com or call them at 877-WebNow1.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler. I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old. She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze fruit on the go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Go, Cookie.
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not low calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
At Granger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff.
So I think the real question is, once the newness wears off for Costco with Rob, will he find his trips being more infrequent and then eventually realize that he's paying, you know, money for a membership that he's not using? Because that's
No,
what
probably not.
that's what happened to us. And we decided that the hassle was not worth it traffic wise and all that kind of stuff.
From the Ingles Market Studio,
State 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM
streaming wherever you are on the Odyssey app. Make the
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the fan upstate. Robin Lonzo with you. Text just says, Rob, how long does Garrett Reilly stay? I mean, why is he not the HBC? I don't know is the answer, right? I don't know. I think Garrett Reilly will one day be a college football head coach. I think college football this past offseason proved that Garrett Reilly is a hot commodity. The question mark is, when does he decide to make the jump and where? I think, I mean, there's a ton of variables here, right? Like, is Lincoln Riley ready, desiring, want to take the Tony Elliott path, right? Tony Elliott decided to go to a college football program in the Power Five who is struggling at Virginia, and it has not gone well for Tony Elliott so far. Now, granted, there's a lot of stuff going on at Virginia that he had to deal with, but let's not pretend everything's going swimmingly for TE.
Can you name a Clemson assistant coach that's went elsewhere and was successful?
Not off the top of my head. I'm not saying there's none. Not off the top of my head.
I mean, why is that? Is that the system? Is it? I'm just, you know.
I don't know. I mean, you've got his last two guys are both struggling right now, right? Brent Venables at Oklahoma. Now, I'll say this. The AP poll that dropped has Oklahoma surprisingly high, right? Oklahoma checked in at, where was it, 20? For a team that was not good last year. Now, they do have them behind Wisconsin, Oregon State, TCU, Kansas State. But 20. And frankly, I don't know. Tony Elliott at Virginia. Unranked, no votes received, if I recall correctly. So, no, there's not a lot of success. But again, I don't know. I say this respectfully to the rest of these guys. But I don't think that Garrett Reilly's on that level, right? All the other guys that Clemson has put into coordinator positions under Dabo Swinney have all been Dabo guys. The news story with Garrett Reilly was not it was partially they got the hottest name in the coordinator transfer portal. Let's call it what it is. It's not that they got the hottest name in the coordinator transfer portal. The news was that, and Dabo's been asked this to his face. I know that because I watched Mark Ryan do it. Coach, you have always hired and promoted within the program. This is the first big coup de grace move that you've made from the outside looking in. Why is that? Right? And he's going to go on about how good of a fit he is and how he meets all the values and all that. And that's all well and good and probably true. And I'm good with all of it. But I think that's kind of the example there now, right? Like that's kind of the example there. Because you look at Jeff Scott, Joey B mentioned Billy Napier down at Florida. Florida's over-under win total this year is 5.5. I am sorry, but I can't put all that on the last guy. 5.5. It's ridiculous. That's an F. So, and by the way, that's if you put Billy Napier in the Dabo coaching tree. Some will put him in Saban's, but whatever. Point here is they took a big swing with Garrett Reilly. Joey B said if Cade Klubnik turns into the quarterback everyone said he would be coming out of high school, he'll get a big-time HC job. That's right. So I don't think Garrett Reilly's going to take a job at a Virginia. He's going to hold out for a Texas. A Michigan, maybe. But we'll see. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Your SEC projected order of finish. We'll do that next. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's the Fan Upstate.
Mornings are made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis or RA. Xeljanz tofacitinib is a pill for adults with moderate to severe RA when tumor necrosis factor blockers did not work well or could not be tolerated. Xeljanz can help relieve joint pain, swelling, and help stop further joint damage. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Don't start if you have one. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers including lymphoma and lung, blood clots, serious heart-related events, tears in the stomach or intestines, and allergic reactions have happened. People 50 and older with heart disease risk factors have an increased risk of death. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, are prone to infections, or have ever had a heart attack, stroke, clot, or other heart problems, or swelling of lips, tongue, throat, or hives. Ask your doctor about prescription Xeljanz. Visit Xeljanz.com or call 1-844-XELJANZ.
I'm Mark Ryan. If you're like me, you're no interior decorator and you need a bit of help putting together an outfit that pumps. I'm beyond great.
So the new day we're on the Practical Joker thing.
Move your boat next time. Yeah, move your boat.
Oh, so you finally watched it?
Yeah, incredible.
I don't have a boat.
I don't have a boat, bro.
They were on the Practical Joker thing for Kevin Hart, and I can't tell if it's scripted or not. To me, it looks scripted, but it may not be. They got Big E pretty good, though.
Yeah. Oh, they pranked their own boys?
It went both ways. First Big E pranked them, and then they pranked Big E. Wow. So you're saying, James, that he's ambidextrous? I
Ambidextrous.
I didn't see that coming. I am not, so I can only hand off to the right. Let me try it though. Let me see if I hurt something.
If you still got it.
It just don't. It doesn't feel right. I mean, I'll just reverse the film later, and it'll look like I was handing off left the entire time.
Yes, as we cheer for the Sretznaps.
Yeah. Those guys. You know, I can fix that too.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Sky Rizzy, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Sky Rizzy, 3 out of 4 people.
I don't know. Since you've declared yourself old, we already knew I was. We're getting more old people commercials for our.
We kind of are.
Yeah, I mean,
You're really not wrong.
yeah, I mean, these are come from corporate, so it's not like but still, corporate is like, okay, Rob Brown's declared himself old. Let's put those commercials on that show. Yeah, James, some people take it way too serious. They do. Well, you're just now trying to you're like, what is this? What is this? And it took you that.
Make them afraid of the P. If they're not afraid of the P, they're not afraid of the O. And the last thing you want to do is get P'd-O'd. I'm just giving you material right now. I'm just throwing red meat at Lonzo.
Same great show, new time.
The Rob Brown Show.
Now 19 years only on the Fan, Upstate.
Saturday on Compass Media Network's
That's not true, Kevin. I've been here 23 years. I ain't going anywhere.
When that promo started, I forgot the direction that we went in there, and I'm like, all right, a little Wake Forest breakdown promo, and then I remembered what it was about.
What's this Wii stuff? You went there. I just, it's quality programming. That's what that is. If we get to Metamucil, it's a problem. Gable's in the first break.
Trey, what's up, big dog? Maybe. By the way, if you don't think your boys started taking fiber supplements, not just taking them, they're amazing. Amazing.
Are you serious?
I have made it to the point where if Lonzo wants to get into conversations about being regular, I got data. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. Welcome in. Good to have you. Hope you're enjoying your day. Hope you're enjoying the show. Hope life is treating you well. I am Rob Brown on the other side of the metaphorical glass. This AM is the sheriff of sports talk himself, the great one. Lonzo's here.
Lonzo is a superstar.
Phone number is 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. You may text us at 71307. 71307 is the number. That is the carpros.com text line, which you can text and start that text with the word fan, F-A-N, fan. Now, I am going to throw at you. I asked for this back in the first hour. We got a couple of texts. We'll hang on it now. What is, in your ever so humble opinion, what is the ceiling and what is the floor for your offense under your new offensive coordinator? Garrett Reilly at Clemson, Dowell Loggains at South Carolina. And what is the ceiling and the floor for them, right? I want both from you. What is the ceiling for you with your new OC? What is the ceiling for them with their new OC? And I want you to be like me. Fandom goes out the window. I want you to honestly evaluate this. Joey B said in the last segment that if Cade Klubnik is made to look like the guy that Clemson fans think he is, Garrett Reilly's going to be an HC somewhere else sooner rather than later. And I don't disagree with that. But is that within the realm of realistic possibilities in year one? And I think the answer is yes. It's very much within the realm of possibility. It is absolutely possible that Garrett Reilly turns Cade Klubnik into that dude. But I would say that possibility exists at South Carolina as well, right? Dowell Loggains is bringing a more pro-style offensive tactic to Columbia this year. Spencer Rattler is a guy, in my opinion, that is built for that type of offense, right? Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma was running a much more wide open offense. And I think Spence can fit into that. But Spencer's got arm talent. Spencer's got the ability. The only question is the decision making. And in an air raid style offense, a Lincoln Riley style offense, that decision making has to not only be top notch. It not only has to be just about perfect, but it has to match with the arm talent. Now, that's not to say it won't be the same way in the pro style, but the pro style takes something off the table. It takes off the table, hey, you're going to be facing a heavy rush more than you're not, right? A pro style is going to put a lot more tight end blocking on the table, a lot more running back blocking on the table. It's going to give them extra blockers more than it doesn't. I actually really like this switch. Yesterday, we went through and we gave you some quotes from Adam Rittenberg of ESPN that he attributed to defensive coordinators from around the SEC and the ACC. Spencer Rattler was labeled as he's got the arm talent. It is that the decision-making has suffered. Well, let's go back to last year. First 2 months of the season, Spencer Rattler, Lonzo, was very meh. Is that fair?
Yeah, maybe less than that.
Yeah. I think Spencer Rattler, first couple months of the season last year, was very meh. And then the last 3 games, all of a sudden, dude is going like 3.5 to 1 in the TD to interception ratio. What did he do in the last 3 games? Like north of 1,000 yards passing and 10 touchdowns, right? It's ridiculous. Now, the question is, do you believe in the rumor? The rumor is that Shane Beamer took play calling away from Marcus Satterfield and put it under his own wing. And if you go back and you look at the tape, right? If you go back and you look at the tape of the first 9 games, or I should say 8 games of the South Carolina football season, you saw a lot more. You saw a lot more. You saw more personnel. You saw more formations. You saw a lot more looks, a lot of different tactics in play that, frankly, I don't think needed to be there. It was overly complicated. And then, again, if you believe the rumor, when Shane Beamer took over offensive play calling duties, that shifted like a lot. All of a sudden, the personnel groupings, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was something like in the first 8 games of the season, up through that L against Florida on the road, which was an absolute embarrassment. When that game took place, we saw a massive downshift in the number of personnel groupings. It was like there was something like 27 different personnel groupings in play. And then against Tennessee and Clemson, there were like 11, right? Yesterday, Lonzo and I talked on the show. In sports and music everywhere, simplicity gets a bad rap, right? Remember that we had that whole conversation about if you win a fight via a one-punch KO or you win a fight via a Bruce Lee impression, at the end of the day, you won the fight. Whether you go one punch man or you go Bruce Lee, you still won the fight.
Did you just throw some anime out there?
You're welcome, Lonzo.
What is wrong with you?
Many things. You still won the fight, right?
By the way, Bruce Lee anime coming out.
Dope, all in.
Yes.
All in. I would also go so far as to say that analogy applies elsewhere. Music. I'm a big fan of the Eagles. Big fan of the Eagles. The Eagles are a remarkably simple band when it comes to music, right? There's nothing wildly complicated about the Eagles. Most of their songs are GCD, ADE minor type stuff. Open chords, stuff that, you know, even if you've never played guitar, you give me a year, I can have you playing a lot of, not all, but a lot of Eagles songs. The Eagles were beautiful in how they layered simplicity, right? The harmonies of the Eagles. It was harmonies. The vocals weren't incredibly impressive. They were just so well harmonized that it gave it a depth that wasn't there. Simplicity is beautiful when simplicity works. Last year at the end of the season, in those last 2 games against Tennessee and Clemson, South Carolina way simplified their program. Way simplified what they were doing. They brought it down a lot, dudes. Like a lot. And it worked. It worked just fine. So my question here is going to be, are we going to see that same simplicity this year that I truly, genuinely think benefited Spencer Rattler so much with a new offensive coordinator? Dowell Loggains knows what he's doing. I think the answer is yes. You can run a pro style. You can do it with 9, 10, or 11 different personnel formations or personnel groupings. If you have only 9 or 10 or 11 personnel groupings, formation is not a big question. This year comes down to discipline, right? And there is the old question mark about if you have a player's coach, right? And is there any argument Shane Beamer's a player's coach?
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
He is without a doubt a player's coach. So if you have a player's coach, as Lonzo and I will both agree that Shane Beamer absolutely is, there can be, and I understand them, questions about discipline, right? Because usually disciplining a team is going to go a long way in making them, you know, not love you as much. If this team, I'm not saying you got to get rid of the office skits on social media. That's great stuff. I'm not saying you got to get rid of the sunglasses and dancing in the locker room. Hell, if anything, that's what's made this program trend upwards, right? I'm saying, can you be that? Can you have that much fun? And still over here, when toe meets leather, be a team that's dialed in, that's drilled down, that's ready to go. The answer is yes. I think honestly, that South Carolina can be as good. I think the absolute ceiling is like a 10-2 year, right? Lonzo and I went down the schedule earlier. Lonzo said that a double-digit win total is not just reasonable, but that's his expectation. 10-2 is the expectation. I think 8-4 is my reasonable expectation. I think 9-3 is possible. I think anything above that is a big, big ask, right? But I think 8-4 will be a step in the right direction. And I think if this team is dialed in, I think if this offensive side is drilled down and disciplined in a Dowell Loggains pro-style set, they'll be fine. Now, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up the proverbial skirts. I still have questions about Dowell Loggains, just like I did about Shane Beamer when he got hired, right? Go back to when Shane got brought in. Hell, I think I was still working with Diesel at that point in time. I said, look, I don't know what this guy has that makes him head coach material. I don't know. I don't know what it is. He's never been a coordinator. He looks like a Nepo baby, right? Would he be Shane Beamer if he was Shane Smith? Would he be Shane Beamer if he was Shane Johnson? Or is he Shane Beamer because he's Shane Beamer? And I got to tell you, he's answered those questions. Twice over, in my opinion, he's answered those questions. It's not going to stop me from questioning Dowell Loggains, right? We had Shane on this show, and we asked him point blank, why Dowell Loggains? We got a promo running about it, as a matter of fact, because I thought it was a good answer. But, pardon me, if I don't take without a grain of salt a boss answering the question of why did you hire this employee with anything but a glowing review of it, right? I have questions. The dude failed at this job at the NFL level. Yes, it is dramatically different. But not only did he fail at the NFL level, but he failed miserably at the NFL level. He was voted by his peers the worst OC in the league, if I recall, twice. Then he went back to Arkansas, and what did he do at Arkansas? Was he an offensive coordinator at Arkansas? Nope. Was he a quarterback's coach? Nope. He was a tight ends coach. Tight end. So unless you're running a tight end exclusive offense, I have questions, and I think that they are fair. But I will say this, and this is where I'm gonna give him the quote, or I'm gonna give him the credit, I should say. Where I think we're gonna give this higher credit is this. Shane Beamer, I think, at the end of last year, recognized where this team was offensively, right? I think he recognized what this team is, where this team is, what this team needed. I think he recognized how to get more out of the offense. Simplify the personnel groupings, streamline the personnel groupings, streamline the number of formations you run out of in those personnel groupings, simplify the offense. And when he simplified the offense and he let his talent players take over, they went out and got 63 hung on a top 5 team in Tennessee. They went to Death Valley and knocked off for the first time in almost a decade the Clemson Tigers. So the good news is I feel like Shane knows the offense. I feel like Shane knows what he needs, or what the offense, I should say, what the offense needs to be successful. I think he knows that. And if you know what they need, if you know what is going to bring the best out of them, then you can hire somebody who fits that mold, right? This wasn't a shot in the dark. As far as the offense under Garrett Reilly, I I have great confidence in that hire, but it's because I have confidence in Garrett Reilly, right? Like, I don't think Garrett Reilly brings TCU to the Natty and sends Max Duggan to New York if he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Max Duggan was a good quarterback. But a good OC elevates you to Heisman Trophy finalist. That being said, I don't know. He might. It's not a shot. Some of you are going to get offended. I don't know if I feel that Dabo knows what that offense needs to thrive this year. Right? And again, I talked about it earlier. It's because of consistency. I don't know what Cade Klubnik is. I mean, he's a person. He's a quarterback. I got it. But as Lonzo is illustrating ever so animatedly on the stream, we've seen a lot of handoffs out of Cade.
Got to slow it down. It was so fast. It blurred on the screen.
Really did. Do we know what style of offense? Do we know the level of complication that Cade Klubnik is capable of rolling through and being successful at the NFL level? Excuse me, at the P5 level. I don't think we know that yet. These wide receivers, they're the big question, right? Like every interview that I have done on any show nationally since the beginning of the offseason. I did one yesterday with PJ Glasser of BetQL, and we talked about this. Every person I've talked to asking about Clemson asked about what? Wide receivers. When we sat down with Don Munson, the voice of the Clemson Tigers at ACC Media Days a couple of weeks ago, he, without being prompted from me, said, I think the number one question about this offense is the wide receivers. Which one, if any, is going to step up and be that guy for Cade Klubnik? Is going to be the guaranteed guy for Cade Klubnik? I don't know the answer to that. That's a guy who watches the football team probably more than anybody who's not named Dabo. So I don't know that Dabo knows what it is. Does he need to streamline the offense for Cade like they did for Spencer Rattler? Can he go with 17, 18, 20 personnel groupings instead of 10 or 11 because Cade's got a better mindset, a better grasp of the game of football? I don't know. I'm not saying he doesn't know. Nobody's got a better chance of knowing than the guy who runs practice every day. But we don't know if Dabo grabbed Garrett Reilly because he definitely fits what is going to make Clemson's offense stand out in the ACC this year, or if he grabbed Garrett because he's the hot commodity. This may shock you. Rob Brown has many times spent more money than he needed to purchasing something that he didn't need to because it was the hot commodity at the time, right? I've done it. We've all done it. You just get that compulsive purchasing. You look and you go, damn, everybody's on this thing, right? Hell, there's a whole industry on social media right now of influencers trying to convince you that this thing is the next big thing because people fall for it. I'm going to out her real quick because she's not listening. But the fiance's fallen for that. There was a fitness guru on YouTube, on TikTok a while back that the fiance suffers from migraines every now and then. Lonzo knows about that struggle. I know about that struggle. And there was this lady, and she was selling a migraine relief face mask. So it was like a face mask that had a band that went around your head, and you put it in the freezer, and it freezes ice cold. And when you put it on, the combined pressure and cold is supposed to relieve the pain of the migraine, right?
Yeah, as I recall, I think my wife has one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, according to this fitness guru on TikTok, this one was the greatest thing. It's made from NASA material, and it was tested in 99 out of 100 doctors say it works, and yada yada yada. And the lady friend suffers from migraines every now and then, and she was like, "I gotta get it," and she bought it, and it got to the house, and it was the same as every other mask. She put it in the freezer, she puts it on. 6 minutes later, it's room temperature again, right? And part of the selling part was, it holds the cold longer than anything else. Nah, it doesn't, right? But she fell for it. She spent that money. Could have gone right down the road to Costco and got 4 of these masks for the same price and at least been able to rotate through them when they're not cold anymore. We've all done it. Was the hiring of Garrett Reilly because he was the flavor of the month, the hot topic, because of what he did with TCU? Or did Dabo look and go, this guy fits the personnel we have. This guy fits the system that we're trying to put in place. We don't know that yet. We don't. If he does and Dabo's right, this team can be 12-0. But if this was a Dabo trying to break the mold, well, hiring coordinators last year didn't work out. Let me break the mold and go with the big name. And he just got the big name because the big name was out there and he's got buyer's remorse. That's where they could get in trouble.
So you're saying maybe he made this hire to quiet the voices that were really loud, because they were really loud. I know coaches say they don't do that, but those are some really loud voices.
I hesitate to say that is the case because Dabo's never struck me as a guy who does something to silence the critics, right? He's always kind of struck me as the guy that, like, he's almost like, bring it on, I don't really care. But I do think that the absolute failure of Brandon Streeter as the offensive coordinator kind of pushed him into a corner, right? I would not be surprised if Dabo got a couple of emails during the OC search that went, hey, no more of that. No more of that, right? We can't have that. We can't have you bring up a dude from the staff that's unproven when we are trying to get back to national prominence. No mas of that. And so Dabo just took the biggest swing at the biggest target.
When you say emails, you mean emails from the voices that really matter, the ones up top.
I'm talking for the ones who approve the contract.
That's what
right?
I'm
right. Dabo can pick the dude. Dabo can pick the guy. But there are people that have got to approve the contract. Texas said, Lonzo, if you're expecting 10-2 for the Gamecocks, you need to start working on your drinking skills.
Yeah, I don't drink. So
no, I think that's the point.
No. Everyone's expectations are high. He didn't say be realistic as possible. No, you know what? I'm not backing down. Of course, that's what I believe. Why would I say it if I didn't believe it?
Fair.
I also said that your Clemson Tigers are going to win quite a few. So you should be pretty excited about that, Texter.
Texter said, I truly think Clemson's offense will improve. They averaged over 400 yards of offense per game, like 240 passing and 180 rushing. I think the rushing will be listen, I've said a number of times, if Clemson's going to win the ACC, it's going to be on the legs of Will Shipley, not the arm of Cade Klubnik. Not in year one. I believe that. We'll get some more text. 71307 is the carpros.com text line. Send me your thoughts right now. What is your reasonable and realistic expectation for your team under a new OC and their team under a new OC? When we come back, SEC order of finish, my predictions. That's next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Got it live here, guys. Y'all stay right there. We'll be right back. All right, dudes and dudettes, we back. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
The Angels have played in Texas against the Rangers. They blown past the over 13 times. Looking at the hitters on both sides, should that surprise anyone? No. The Angels playing the Rangers in Arlington tonight. So hammer that over. I'm Tristan Crick, helping you beat the books and bet smarter with BetQL. Download the BetMGM app today.
At Granger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business
I went to change the Alexa in the bathroom, and when I opened the door, Creed was on, so I just left it.
Of course. And easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional grade products. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Jesus, gotta stop with
Guess he would have.
Your AC unit isn't working. When this happens, you need an HVAC company you can trust. A company like Priority Heating and Air. Their HVAC specialists will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. So keep your family or business cool this summer and give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-1847 or find them online at PriorityHeatingandAirHVAC.com.
Priority Heating and Air. At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys. And we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles.
DeMondre's trying so hard to get me to cut the hair. We'll see. There's the prediction that at some point I will get frustrated and hack it all off. We're not there yet. Joey B. That's a Weird Al parody I do not want in my life.
Does she come at your brother that way?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My brother used to play this game where every time somebody asked him about a haircut, he added one more month until he got one. And then it just got to the point where he just kept hearing. He's just like, I'm never cutting it again.
Knew he was one of my people. My hair is long because one thing I wanted to him because Russ Castle would ask me every morning, when you going to cut your hair? It's like, never now. All I gotta say is that's award-winning hair right there. Why would you cut that? Your brother has responded, by the way.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo, just a couple of multi-time award winners up in this bad boy. You want to be a part of the show, 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. TheCarPros.com text line is open as well at 71307. 71307. Start that text with FAN, F-A-N. We will read them on the air.
Hey, my computer has an unhandled exception. Have you ever heard of that before?
I am an unhandled exception.
Good night, everybody.
Tiger Pal Rachel tweets into the show. I think she says 9 is fair considering the last 2 years, but I do think Clemson will make some noise this year. Of course, I want to be back in the CFP, but most importantly, I want to see growth and improvement from the anemic offense of the last 2 years, hoping it's a one-year fix, but it may take 2. That's correct. And especially might take 2 because of the change at coordinator. But let's take a break from that. We'll come back to that later. I gave you the ACC projected order of finish for one Rob Brown a couple of days ago. Told you that I believe FSU will win that division. Conference. There are no divisions anymore. FSU will win the conference. Clemson checks in second. I've got UNC third, NC State fourth, Miami 5, Duke 6. And honestly, I would not be shocked to see both Duke and Pitt be better than Miami. Let's do the same thing for the Southeastern Conference. Projected order of finish, we start from the bottom, and that is the poor Vanderbilt Commodores.
They're not poor. I mean, those guys are going to make some money.
No, they're all
Yeah,
very rich.
yeah.
You don't go to Clemson or to go to Vanderbilt without that. All right. The Doors have five, if I recall, players on preseason award watch list this year. I do think they are going to be a slightly better football team. That being said, let's play a little Rob Brown Show home edition. Who's Vanderbilt's head coach? Anybody?
There was this time when the head coach of Furman left and he went and coached Vanderbilt. I knew his name then.
Yep.
But now, no, I don't know.
Clark Lee. Way to go, Clark.
People still name their kids Clark.
Clark.
It's a good name. I'm just,
I feel like we don't probably need to spend too much time on Vanderbilt. All right. It's just a disadvantage to be there. I am going to go with second to last. I hate to do it, but I got to take the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Why do you hate to do it?
Because I love Mike Leach. Mike Leach.
Yes.
And I can't put him there now. Mississippi State did get some votes within the SEC media from folks that believe they're going to be better than expected, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm just not there. You've got a new head coach who's taken over on short notice, who's trying to fill the pirate shoes of Mike Leach, who's trying to renegotiate Mike Leach's offense. And if nothing else, there's one thing that bugs me. And the one thing that bugs me is that after a couple of years of running the Mike Leach wide open offense, the new head coach has said, Zach Arnett has said, we're going to run the ball. You don't have run the ball personnel, my man. Like if there is a coach that needs a slow transfusion into his offense, it's this guy. It needs to be a slow change, but it's not going to be. And I think that is really going to hamper Mississippi State. I got them second from the bottom. Right ahead of them, I've got the Florida Gators. I know that at the end of the day, preseason projections are not a guarantee of what a team's going to look like. But this team's preseason projection over under win total is 5.5. It's 5.5. We looked up and down their schedule. We've done that for most of the teams. Looking up and down the 2023 schedule for the Gators, they're at Utah to open the season. They can win that game. I don't think they will. They should beat McNeese Cowboys in week 2. That's at home. But I think Tennessee can beat them. I honestly think Kentucky can beat them. I think South Carolina at home can beat them. Georgia's going to beat them. I think Arkansas can beat them. They will get smoked by LSU. They can compete with Missouri. And I think Florida State beats them. 5.5 the over-under win total. And I honestly, I'm not going to take a line on that. I don't love it. I got Mizzou checking in just ahead of Florida. This Mizzou team is not a team that South Carolina should have lost to the last couple of years. Just should not have, right? Mizzou's got South Dakota, Middle Tennessee, and then they're at Kansas in week 3. Excuse me, at home against Kansas in week 3. Kansas can beat Missouri. They should be better than Memphis. They should be better than Vandy, but they're going to get smoked by LSU. I think they lose to Kentucky. This has got to be the year that Shane gets the Mizzou monkey off the back but it is in the other Columbia. They're at Georgia. They're at Tennessee. They should beat Florida, and they're at Arkansas. I think Arkansas can beat them. I got nothing for Mizzou. Ahead of Mizzou, I have those aforementioned Arkansas Razorbacks. Ahead of Arkansas, I got the Auburn Tigers. I'm intrigued by this Auburn team. I do, to be clear, do not like Hugh Freeze. All right? I don't like Hugh Freeze. I think Hugh Freeze is a bit of a charlatan. But Hugh Freeze has been a good football coach, right? He's been a very good football coach. He takes over for Brian Harsin. That did not go well. I think Keegan still got PTSD every time you say that name around him. Freeze is a former SEC guy. He's got experience. He was at Ole Miss for a hot minute. But this is a program that is 11-14 over the last 2 seasons. This is a program that needs major improvement on both sides of the ball. Now, Hugh Freeze worked the transfer portal. And he worked it the way that Mike Norvell's working it right now. That is to say, lean into it for the positions you need help at the most. They got some good transfers. Peyton Thorne comes over from Michigan State. That's a solid addition at quarterback. In the December transfer window, they added a heck of a lot of help across the offensive and defensive line. I don't think that Auburn is anywhere near winning the Southeastern Conference. But I absolutely do think Clemson's a bowl, or excuse me, Auburn. I got to take all the Clemson stuff off my screen. I keep tripping on it. I do think Auburn is a bowl-eligible team. Right ahead of them, I have Texas A&M. I don't know how to continue to tell you guys that Jimbo Fisher's a bust. Scratch that. I feel like I don't have to tell you guys. I think everybody except Aggie fans, except members of the cult, realize what Jimbo Fisher is. Jimbo Fisher is a dude who got carried by Jameis Winston to a natty back in 2013. Jimbo Fisher is a guy who, outside of the couple of years with Jameis, really didn't do a hell of a lot in Tallahassee. And he is a dude that tricked the Aggies into giving him a lot of money before he did anything. I've stood on, I stand by. If the Aggies didn't offer up such a big, fat exit fee to Jimbo Fisher, he wouldn't be there anymore. But I do think that they are going to rebound a little bit this year. They've got 2 of the SEC's top receivers in Evan Stewart and Anais Smith. Bobby Petrino is coming in as the offensive coordinator. Don't like Bobby Petrino. Good offensive coordinator. Like that pickup. Just ahead of A&M, I've got Kentucky. I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on them. South Carolina fans very knowledgeable about the work of Mark Stoops. Climate change, not culture change. Am I right, Mark? I got Ole Miss ahead of them. Let's take a break. When we come back, by the way, love Lane Kiffin. Love Lane Kiffin. When we come back, we check in with South Carolina, and then we put the top 4, Tennessee, Bama, LSU, and Georgia in order. We'll do that next on the Rob Brown Show. We'll do that next on the Fan Upstate. Correct. That is 100% it. Keegan said, Hugh Freeze has been redeemed. He's turned over a new leaf. It's amazing how those new leaves often come in your team's colors, huh?
That was kind of mean. I mean, it could be true.
He knows. I told him that. That's not a shock. No, he knows I feel that way because I'll tell him to his face. That's why we're friends, because I can tell him that to his face. All right, guys, be right back.
So they didn't hear my question. They didn't hear anything. My question was asking Rob what his favorite Creed song was.
We had a whole discussion about it.
We did. And
then I told James the audio was out or the Bluetooth was out.
but he couldn't hear it.
But he couldn't hear me.
Yeah. I dropped the ball on that. I should have looked quicker to make sure that everything was taken care of. I apologize. It's not very award-winning of me. Creed is one of those bands that everyone seems to make fun of, but also has a favorite song from them. That's the reason why I asked that.
Oh, I'm tired of pretending like Creed's not a good band.
You're in the upstate of South Carolina where Creed is king, mister.
What if I don't know, man. The Florida Panhandle produced Creed.
At America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price.
And I guess also Alter Bridge.
Yes.
Free battery testing and charging.
Much better band. Need to check to see if they put anything new out lately.
By the way, you know where Creed got their start in 1994? That, of course, would be Tallahassee, Florida. 28 million records in the United States sold over 53 million albums worldwide, and was the 9th best-selling artist of the 2000s.
Yeah, take that.
Take that. Take that, Creed haters. Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, UF, Mizzou, Arky, Auburn, Texas A&M, Kentucky, Ole Miss, working from the bottom up. And in 5th, maybe I'm being optimistic, that is where I slot the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Now, we don't need to spend a ton of time on that breakdown. We've done it a bunch already. Turns out we play football next weekend. We'll do it again then. But let's go who I have right above them. I'm going to start with Tennessee in 4th, right? I know. Well, Rob, we just beat Tennessee. I am aware.
Oh, no, it wasn't that. And I don't think I would. I'll speak a little more clearly. No, I am. I'm seeing that you are also on that train that happens every year, that train that a bunch of people jump on, that train that says Clemson, not Clemson, Tennessee.
You did it too. I feel better.
Tennessee is coming back. They're coming back. They're back to who they were 25 years ago or whenever it was when they were good. Come on, man. Come on, Rob. It's Tennessee. Get off that train.
Tennessee was a top 5 team until their quarterback popped an ACL last year. Now, the problem with Tennessee, and the reason I have them slotted 4th, is that they are going to be, and they lost Jalen Hyatt to the NFL as well, which is a huge blow. That's why I have them 4th, because of what they lost. They lost Joe Milton. They lost Hendon Hooker. They have Joe Milton. They lost Jalen Hyatt. That's 2 big losses. But they bring a lot back this year. It's going to be a good team. And the schedule, for the most part, sets up pretty well for the Volunteers. I like Tennessee 4th in the SEC.
I think it's a little obvious I don't like orange. Okay.
Clearly.
Yes.
Just ahead of them, I am taking Alabama. Alabama 3rd in the Southeastern Conference in my preseason power rankings. Look, the fact that we still don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. We do. It's going to be Jalen Milroe. But the fact that we don't know who the starting quarterback is, to me, is not great. We're a week and 2 days out, my dudes. Like, not only should they know, but that guy should have been getting first-team reps solely and individually for like 2 weeks now, right? This Bama team is still going to fly. They're still going to hit. But based on the comments we've heard out of Nick Saban, it feels like Alabama's going to kind of go back to that joyless murder ball style of football that marked Nick Saban's first handful of runs at titles, right? It's not going to be exciting, fun, exhilarating, over the top. It's going to be 4 yards in a cloud of dust every snap. Problem is, I don't see them having the horses that they had when they were making that run how many years ago, right? Like when they were making those runs, they had ridiculous offensive lines full of eventual NFL first-round picks. I don't think they have that now. They had guys like Mark Ingram in the backfield, guys like Derrick Henry in the backfield. I don't think they have that now. if Nick Saban does go back to joyless murder ball, the way that it has sounded this offseason like he's going to, I think you're due for a setback. Jace McClellan, Rodell Williams, good running backs, but there's a reason these guys are seniors, and this is really the first that you've heard of them in big-time situations. Tyler Buckner transferred in from Notre Dame. Thought he was going to be the starter. Right now, it looks like he's going to be the second string. But again, the fact that a guy that transferred out of Notre Dame showed up and had a run at the starting QB job tells me it's a long way down from Bryce Young. I think Alabama's going to find themselves in a little bit of trouble, and I think one of the games that's going to give them trouble, team number 2, all my projections, the LSU Tigers. Jaden Daniels is a dude, and he learned football last year. He learned how to play his style of football. He showed you last year how big of a threat he can be with his legs, right? Last year, Jaden Daniels led LSU in both rushing attempts and rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. That's a lot of numbers for a quarterback. Even good rushing quarterbacks usually don't lead their team in 2 of those 3, forget all 3, right? So the fact that he did that and spent this offseason learning how to run through a passing progression, that was the focus for Brian Kelly and his family. The guy's a Heisman hopeful. And defensively, LSU's going to be fast, like real fast. LSU Florida State at the beginning of the year is going to prove one of those 2 teams deserves to be a playoff caliber team, or at least called a playoff caliber team towards the end of the season. I got LSU checking in second, and surprise, surprise, the Georgia Bulldogs going for another SEC championship. That being said, I do not think Georgia is as clear-cut of a favorite this year as they're being made out to be. I think LSU and Bama will both be in Georgia's back pocket all the way through Atlanta. I do think Georgia's playing in Atlanta out of the East. Respectfully, Tennessee is not on that level yet. South Carolina's not on that level yet. Georgia will win the SEC East. But the West is going to produce either an LSU team or an Alabama team that is trial forged and is ready to go up against the dogs in Atlanta. So your SEC projected order of finish from one Rob Brown, I'm going Georgia is number 1, not a close word, not a distant one though. I got behind them in the back pocket LSU, behind them in the pocket Bama, a little bit of a drop down to Tennessee, a little bit of a drop down to South Carolina, a little bit of a drop down to Ole Miss, a little bit of a drop down to Kentucky, A&M, Auburn, and Arkansas, all in the same boat. A big drop down to Mizzou and Florida and Mississippi State, and then the final drop down to Vanderbilt in that order. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Hour number 3 goes next. The Kelsey Bros pod has been giving me content. And they talked about something that I talked about on the show on Monday. I want to run that audio for you when we come back. We'll get some baseball talk because LOL Angel Hernandez. All that more coming up in the next hour of the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Admittedly, I just phased out because Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale on a roller coaster popped up on my thing, and I just was like,
obviously,
that does not look like Willow. I just don't. Okay. And also, all I could think of is popcorn. It's weird.
Trust me, you want to avoid surgery if you can. Check out these biologic treatments to see what your options are.
QC Kinetics, restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime, no surgery, no drugs.
I'm talking about joint pain we all can relate to in your knees, your shoulders, your hips, and your lower back. They'll get you feeling good again.
Get relief now.
What are you waiting on? Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmett Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para
People are really correcting you on the Tennessee thing, by the way.
Yes, I am aware that South Carolina was losing to Tennessee when Hendon Hooker went out, but they were not getting blown out.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're making an excuse for Tennessee.
I mean, you're stepping down from a guy who, if his ACL didn't pop, was a first-round quarterback. It is absolutely a fallback from Tennessee.
Was he?
Yes.
I don't know.
If Hendon Hooker's leg doesn't give out in that South Carolina game, he's gone in the first round, 100%.
Maybe late first round. I don't know.
He'd have gone ahead of Will Levis.
Would he?
Mm-hmm. I guarantee it.
So he would have outdid Will Levis at the combine.
Yes.
I don't know.
Def Leppard fans, Excitable returns to the Spinning Jenny in Greer Saturday, August 19th. That's Excitable playing all your favorite Def Leppard hits with special guest Honeywagon Saturday, August 19th. Tickets at thespinninggreer.com.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up autosave.
What if I avenge? What if I for an I? What up, P Digits?
Autosave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Every business seeks an advantage, whether it's having the best location, hiring top talent, or spotting trends before they happen. And now, the United States Postal Service can give your business a new advantage. Introducing USPS Ground Advantage. Reliable and affordable 2 to 5 day package shipping. It's the advantage you need at the price you want. Get the Ground Advantage at USPS.com/advantage.
QC in the first break.
United States Postal Service, delivering for America.
The nationally ranked Furman Paladins open the 2023 season on Thursday night, August 31st at Paladin Stadium against Tennessee Tech. Hi, everybody. Dan Scott, voice of the Paladins here, inviting you to join David Kopp, Marcus McMorris, Tom Van Hoy, and me as we bring you.
Say that again. I'm sorry. I heard you say a thing, and it just.
I
was reading a boss email.
I feel awesome that you at least acknowledge that.
I acknowledge that you said a thing. I just did not hear what it was.
QC in the first break.
QC in the first break. Beautiful.
I feel special now because it was acknowledged, and you know.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, y'all. Howdy. Hope everybody's having a lovely Wednesday so far. I am Rob Brown. He is the sheriff of Sports Talk, Lonzo. We collectively are your two-time South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. Ever so glad to have you guys along for the ride with us. If you'd like to be a part of the radio broadcast, now is your opportunity to do so at 844-326-3663, 844-326-3663. You can text us on the carpros.com text line 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. You can tweet and or X us. Actually, it's not called an X. It's just a post. I got to tell you, I don't like saying you can post us, post at us, post to us.
I roll how I roll. You want to X us, yo.
X me, bro. At The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word. I am also at that same handle on Threads, which is, I believe, DOA at this point.
So last time you checked your thread.
2 days after I signed up, and that's it.
Okay.
Which was like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I also found out yesterday there is a new one that is coming up called Blue Sky. And Blue Sky is basically OG Twitter. It is an exact knockoff of OG Twitter.
Okay, so I don't understand how it's any different than what X is. You explain to me the difference between what X is now and what Twitter used to be.
It does not manipulate the algorithm. It does not limit who you can view. It does not set preferences for people who are subscribed to show up. And Mr. Free Speech, it doesn't throttle websites from sources that it doesn't like, as Elon is doing to the New York Times right now. Bang! Hypocrite.
All right.
Got him.
You can prove all that to me later.
Deal.
Because so what you're saying is this new thing doesn't do any of that. And you can prove that it doesn't do any of that.
So far,
because they say it doesn't do any of that, so you just automatically believe
people
it.
can go look through the code for websites.
There are algorithms for every form of social media, and they all basically do the same thing. They do.
No.
Don't live there. Don't expect things there. Just go there and have some fun, and then, go read a book or something.
Go touch grass, nerd.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Let's run through some stuff. Texter on the carpros.com text line says, any messy talk? Sure.
Some would say that all our talk is messy. But
you know what we should talk about? Oh, now it's not going to play. No, wait, leave it. I fixed it. Messy! There it is.
Yeah, I left it on utility just long enough for us to be flagged.
Yeah, we're not going to
because
be flagged.
all things soccer. All things soccer, we get flagged for.
So last night,
I get that email from Diesel. Did you know that? Yeah, dude. Yeah, I know.
In his 6th game with Inter Miami, a young man by the name of scored his 9th goal of the season, giving Inter Miami a 4-1 victory over Philadelphia Union in the semifinals of the Clubs Cup, which will send them on to play in Saturday's final, meaning that could win his first domestic trophy in the United States. But what is more important is the interest that is being generated by, at this point in time. Let me tell you why. I usually, around 10 p.m., sit down in the bro cave, though I did it in the living room last night because my freaking TV is dead.
So did you price them when you were at Costco?
Sure did. And the problem that I'm having, Zoe, is, all right, so background. Rob has been rolling the 65-inch for 4 or 5 years now. Same TV. It's been with me from Pensacola to Jacksonville to Pensacola to here. TV's been really good. But day before yesterday evening, Rob got home. Rob went to the bro cave. Rob put computer X on a baseball game, put computer Y on a baseball game, threw a baseball game on the tablet, and then was going to jump in and play a little Neverwinter on Xbox One. It's an actual D&D game made by Wizards of the Coast. You're welcome.
I played Neverwinter before.
Great little game.
It's a little crowded.
It's a little crowded in the multiplayer scene, but you go dungeon crawling, great little game. Having fun. It's just a goofy D&D game to kill some time. It's a mind number, right? It's a button masher. So.
He said button masher, by the way.
What do you think I said? Butt masher?
It's kind of, I think it came out that way.
Swampicitis. Anyway, I sat down last night. The TV's out. So while we were at Costco, I went ahead and started pricing out TVs. And here's the problem I found myself in, Zoe. I found a very nice 65-inch 4K ultra thin for like $500 and some change. I'm like, all right, that's not awful. right? Like it's going to kill the fun money for Rob Brown for, a month or two. But at the end of the day, I spend more time watching the TV than I do doing anything else. So if I'm going to put the money somewhere, that's a good place to put it. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. For like another $100, I could go up to the 75-inch. And that's 4K. Oh, wait a minute. If I go like another $50, I can add this feature. And then if I go up another 50 from that, I can add this. And the next thing I know, I went from a $500 65-inch Ultra 4K to like a 85-incher for like, well, what's another $500 to get an 85-inch 4K Ultra Clear, Ultra Thin?
So while you're pricing, did you ever wonder, will that fit in my vehicle?
I'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah. I've
in worst case, on the Costco app, you get free delivery.
I was going to say, I've been in that situation where I thought I would figure it out. Yeah. And had to take it out of the box.
Yeah, there'll be a tape measure involved, I'm sure. Anyway, my TV. Do any of y'all know televisions? Let me tell you what happened. I got an LG TV, 65-inch, been carrying it around for a while. It started on Monday. It will turn on, the screen flickers, but then the screen goes off. Not the back, like I thought it was the backlight. I'm like, I can fix a backlight. It's not the backlight because the screen is entirely off, right? But the TV's on. You can hear the sounds from the Xbox, right? I checked the sound by casting my Spotify onto it. It's playing the music. It's just that the screen is broken, right? Somebody said it's like, oh, you just got to replace the board. Oh, yeah, no, I know how to do that.
I know someone who might. So do you. Did you? Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't check. I didn't ask directly. I just made a big deal out of how my TV's broken and the board's out because I was like, well, if he knows how, he'll offer.
No, he won't. You have to ask him. You absolutely have to ask him.
Yeah, he's a radio engineer. He's not my engineer. Anyway, point is, my TV's broke. Do any of y'all know how to fix it? Because I don't. I'm screwed. I'm about to drop $600 on our new TV this
Well,
week.
as we've seen, we've got some heating and air guys out there, so maybe we actually have some TV guys out there.
I will say this. There is a part of me that kind of went, new TV time.
Yeah, you can't help. I mean,
I can't help it.
Yeah, when you get the,
I do not listen. I'm saving up for a wedding next September, right? And yet still I'm like 75 inch, 75 inch. And if you buy it through them, they'll come to your house and install it for you. They'll hang it for you.
All right, new TV is either 2 or 3 on the list of new things after vehicle, I think.
I'm already done there.
Yeah, so I mean,
I'm not done there.
I don't know for me if it's TV and then gaming console or gaming console and then TV, but you got to have the TV before you. Yeah, so I think TV is number 2.
All right. Anyway, let's get back to the conversation at hand. Let's get back to 6 matches, 9 goals for Inter Miami, including leading that team to the club championship on Saturday.
All right, I have another soccer novice question over here. Did he not do that in the last place he was at? That one hurts. It really does every time.
It's so good.
It does.
Messi's done this everywhere he's been.
Okay.
When he is doing it. It's like this.
Because you make it sound like he's
no. This is dominance.
Outdoing his expectation.
He is. Inter Miami expected goals. They expected him to be good. He is out there making and it's kind of a weird spot. It's kind of a tough spot to be in. It's kind of a tough spot to be in, Zoe, because on one hand, you expected dominance out of the best soccer player on planet Earth coming to probably the 5th best league on planet Earth.
Right.
Best.
And that league is here, right?
Correct.
So is this just more proof that American soccer is not as good as European soccer?
No, it's not. The fact remains that American soccer players, the ones that grow up in the system, are very good. What it proves is that our league is just not as prestigious as other leagues. Our players are on par with the best in the world, the top notch. I'm talking about the Pulisics and the Reynas of the world, the McKinneys of the world. They are top notch. That is why they are all playing in Europe, in the most prestigious leagues in the world. That's why our best are playing in the Premier League. That's why they're playing in Bundesliga, right? Because they are European quality. They are top class. The problem is the MLS cannot pay out like those top tier leagues can. And so our American players go elsewhere which means MLS is just a lower quality product. It's not that American soccer is bad. It's just that MLS cannot keep up with the top tier leagues, which is why I am very excited that as Messi is here, because while he is going out there and he is making it look like a D1 college player playing on a high school pitch by just decimating everybody he comes up against, on the flip side, you hope that that attracts more greatness. You hope that it attracts more European players that maybe aren't at the absolute pinnacle of the game, but are maybe just starting their step down, right? Like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, when he was with LA Galaxy, was still one of the best players in the world, but he was very clearly on the downside of his career, right? Lionel Messi is still at the top of his game, even at his age. He is still as good as anybody on planet Earth. So I would hope that maybe this starts to create a world in which more influential soccer players who are on the beginning of their backslide go, let me go to MLS, right? Keep my name on the front page for a little while. On the flip side, he's absolutely generating attention. Because last night, while it was not on my stupid broken television, I'm scrolling through the interwebs, right? I got a baseball game on one TV. I got on one laptop. I got the baseball game on the over laptop. I've got the tablet in hand, and I'm just scrolling. I'm hitting all my websites. I'm doing my show prep, and every single one of them had a Messi article, had a Messi game summary. And it was not like over on the right-hand side of the webpage where they list like the 15 top stories in sports, and at number 12 is a story about. It was top of the page. It was top of the page. When you went to ESPN at the very top of the page, he does it again. Scores his 9th goal in 6 games. When you went to the Fox Sports page, the top of the article was about. When you went to the CBS Sports page, Lonzo, you want to take a guess at what their primary article up last night was?
Messi.
All right, I'll give that a rest. I'll give that a rest.
Will you?
Yeah.
Once you start doing it, it's hard to put it away.
Everybody had Lionel Messi at the top of their page. Now, for those of you that hate soccer, that just are going to refuse to jump on board, that's fine. That's fine. It's your taste. It's your preference, right? I don't care. Because what that tells me is that this sport is growing dramatically. It just is. You don't have to like it. You do have to accept it. And I know that because at the end of the day, as Lonzo and I had the conversation earlier this week, what is the number one currency in sports broadcasting right now? Views and clicks, right? Views and clicks. It does not matter what you say. This is something that I, as a broadcaster, am having a damn difficult time digesting. What you say does not matter anymore. Just how do people react to it? That is why there are so many hot take artists out there, because at the end of the day, what is getting paid right now is not great sports analysis. What is getting paid right now is how many people can you drive to the website? How many people can you get to click that play button so we can stick a 15-minute advertisement out front of that video and they're going to sit through that 15 seconds to get to your take, right? Well, if that is the case, then those websites are always going to stick whatever the hot topic is, whatever people are clicking on, right? Whatever people are clicking on, that's what they're going to stick up top. I'm even talking about when you go to specific websites, right? If I go to a website whose primary content is college football stuff, you might go to that website and see all college football stuff, but at the top of that list, what you're going to see is the toppest of college football stuff, right? If you went to a website that primarily centers on Southern college football last week, what was the top story that you saw? Jim Harbaugh, right? Jim Harbaugh might be suspended the first 4 games of the season. Jim Harbaugh and the NCAA Infractions Committee could not reach an alignment. Jim Harbaugh will not be suspended for the first 4 games of the season, but he might be suspended a half or more of a season starting next year. That's the hot news. This site focuses on Southern college football, but Harbaugh's at the top. Why? Because we were all clicking on it, because we were all going, what the hell's going on? Rob, I'm so tired of hearing about conference realignment. Yeah, no, I know, and I'm tired of talking about it. But at the end of the day, every time we talk about it, the text line blows up. Every time we post something about it on the website, it ends up being the most clicked on thing on the website. Every time I post about it on social media, it's the one that gets the most retweets and quote tweets and whatnot, right? You don't have to like it. That's the revenue that is driving. And so if I go to said websites and all of them at the top of the page have all it means is that that's what people are clicking on, searching for, looking at. These websites all take a look at what terms are being searched the most on Google. And if they go to Google and they go, hey, what are the hot sports topics right now? And Google says the number 1 search in America right now is, then what article are they going to put at the top of the list? The one about Lionel Messi. Messi is bringing attention. Now, the only question is, can the MLS take advantage of that? Can they generate staying power? Can they find a rival for Leo Messi, right? Not in terms of talent, but I'm talking MMA style. Can they find that guy that's going to poke the bear? Can they find that guy that's going to call out Leo Messi? Can they find that guy that's going to guarantee a victory or say he's overrated or whatever? Can they find that guy that generates drama? And if they can find that guy that generates drama to where everybody's going to tune in now they can grow a little bit. MLS needs to go now where I've said MLB has needed to go for a while. And by the way, MLB is actually doing a decent job of it this year, generating more stars. You want good teams because you want good postseasons, right? You want more. Why are the Braves such a big talking point right now? They've got Ronald Acuna Jr. He is the heavy odds-on favorite to win the National League MVP. But that's not why people are talking about Atlanta. They're talking about Atlanta.
They're pretty good from what I understand.
From 1 to 9. Matt Olson's leading the NL, leading MLB in home runs. Sean Murphy behind the dish is doing a great job. Ozzie Albies, Eddie Rosario, Ronald Acuna Jr. Marcelo Zuna is getting into it. They're a good team, but they have stars. We as Americans, whether we like it or not, whether we admit it or not, we have stars. We love stars. We want stars. We search stars. The reason Google is telling ESPN that the number 1 sports search right now is because he is the biggest athletic star on planet Earth right now. And he's here. So MLS has got to take advantage of that. You have got to use him as a platform. Why do you think they paid him? Why do you think they gave him a percentage of the revenue that is generated by new Apple subscriptions from people who sign up to watch MLS? Because he drives views. So the MLS is going to be silly if they do not figure out a way to generate new stars. The problem is, if you generate a star, how do you keep them? Because if you find the next Christian Pulisic, if you find the next Gio Reyna, if you find the next Weston McKennie, if you find the next guy, and they turn out to be the guy, how do you keep them here instead of going to Europe? I don't know the answer to that. Unless they get to stay here and play Lionel Messi and test themselves against a superstar who maybe they are in the backslide, but they're here, right? The biggest L that MLS has taken recently is Ronaldo. going to Saudi Arabia, which they couldn't compete with. Saudi Arabia's paying that guy $1 billion. MLS could not do that. But if the Saudis weren't in the game and Cristiano Ronaldo came to MLS, do you understand how much generation that would have? That'd be huge, right? So how do you get guys on par with Messi and Ronaldo who are maybe starting the backslide to come to MLS? And that way you can talk to American players and go, hey, yo, we know we're not Premier. We know we're not Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A, whatever. But you are going to get to test yourself before you head over there. You get to test yourself against Leo Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, etc. That's the next step. We'll see if they take it.
We're moving on, right? Because my X feed is nothing but Messi now.
Joey B says, per FPI, the MLS is ranked as the 16th best league in the world, roughly on par with the English second division. Yeah, no, it's a long way to go. It's a long way to go. I guess probably 7th. 16th I get, because you're probably talking behind German second division, English second division, Italian second division, Spanish second division. But they also got a very big head start. So we'll see. Like I said, we got to find more guys that are top tier on the beginning of the backslide and attract them. That's who you're looking for if you're MLS. Wily vets from the European top tier ranks. Let's take a break. We're back after this. We got some football to talk on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
You see.
All right, guys, got a live read. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
business wrong. Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses.
David Tepper could pay Ronaldo $1 billion.
ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. There's nothing worse than coming home from a hot day to find out that your AC unit isn't working. When this happens, you need an HVAC company you can trust. A company like Priority Heating and Air. Their HVAC specialists will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. So keep your family or business cool this summer and give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-1847 or find them online at PriorityHeatingandAirHVAC.com.
Rob Brown, the voice of the Burns Rebels, inviting you to join us this Saturday as the Rebels kick off their 23 season on the road at Huff High School in North Carolina. Pregame starts at 6:30, kickoff at 7. Presented by your local Eagles Markets and Founders Federal Credit Union. It's Burns Rebels High School football on the Fan Upstate.
Sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hey, football fans, this is Cole Bryson. Are you ready for the ultimate adrenaline?
So I ran into my first major boss battle yesterday. It did not go well. I gotta figure out what happened. I did like 15 points of damage on it, and suddenly it won't take any more damage.
Healing spell or something?
So,
the
you can look at it and see that it's immune to all these different damages, including bludgeoning and slicing or whatever. It's weird. Slashing. That's what I meant. Slashing.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob. He is Lonzo. We are your 2-time South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. We got a text earlier that said, "Rob, when are you going to start? When are you going to stop mentioning that?" I will stop mentioning that we are the 2-time Show of the Year, Lonzo, when we become the 3-time Show of the Year. That's when I'll stop. We missed a year.
See, those kind of texts bother me because that makes me want to make sure that it's done more. Like maybe go around the building and have all the other winners congratulate us on our victory, and then we can congratulate them on their victory, and those can be liners on every station in the building.
MJF just made the ultimate heel move, Lonzo. The ultimate heel move. He's buddying up to Logan Paul.
Yeah, I saw it.
Ultimate heel move.
Yeah,
dude.
I saw it.
Just when I was coming around on MJF, he goes and pulls something like this. All right. Speaking of, tomorrow, 11:20, mark your calendars because it's time for Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo. And we have got no shortage of stuff to get into.
Including going in depth on how we won the South Carolina Broadcasters Association Award for Best Sports Talk Show.
Again.
Yeah.
All we do is win no matter what. Let's get into some baseball stuff real quick. I want to start with Angel Hernandez because Angel Hernandez is bad at his job. Not kind of bad at his job. Outright, straight up, and entirely bad at his job. He has the lowest umpire accuracy rate in Major League Baseball so far this year. It amazes me that we're still in a point that we can track accuracy of umpires, but we don't just make the switch to the thing that, tracks accuracy. I don't get it. I don't get how we have a system that can track the accuracy of a job and we don't just go to that system when we know it is better and more efficient. Anyway, Angel Hernandez filed a second suit against Major League Baseball, accusing MLB of racial discrimination. It was rejected in a federal appeals court in New York yesterday, according to ESPN. This case was filed back in 2017 because Angel Hernandez spent 5 years serving as an interim crew chief. I feel like after 5 years, you can go ahead and drop the interim tag, but hey, he was an interim crew chief, and MLB did not promote him to full-time crew chief. He also has not been chosen to work the World Series. That lawsuit was dropped at one point. He filed an appeal back in June of last year. And then the 61-year-old got that claim rejected. In the appeal, he claimed that former MLB chief baseball officer Joe Torre prevented him from being promoted because he held a grudge towards Hernandez back from when Torre was the manager of the New York Yankees. The umpire's lawyer, Nicholas R. Gregiga, he has 2 G's on his name. That's Gregiga. Argued that MLB was wrong to give Torre 100% authority to make crew chief decisions. In the years after the suit was filed, Hernandez also accused MLB umpiring executive Randy Marsh, yes, that is his name, of, excuse me, making disturbing racial comments, while MLB claimed that Hernandez once improperly eavesdropped on one of the league's calls. Hernandez lost that case in 2021 when the judge said, a federal judge, said that MLB made a compelling case that Torre had reason to believe Hernandez is, quote, from a Yahoo Sports article, simply not a good enough umpire to deserve a promotion, end quote. And that is correct. He made a claim that MLB manipulated internal evaluations against minority umpires. The Second U.S. Court of Appeals in Manhattan rejected that argument in a unanimous 3-0 decision. Basically, what happened, for those of you that don't know the backstory, is that Angel Hernandez accused MLB of discriminating against him and other Latino umpires, preventing them from becoming crew chiefs and calling World Series, which, if there was evidence to back that up, is a claim I would absolutely jump on the back of. I absolutely believe racial discrimination is real in a lot of employment situations. Except for that Major League Baseball came to court with 2 big papers. One of them was the list of Latino umpires that had been promoted to crew chief, and it was not short. And the second one was a list of all the times that Angel Hernandez had been bad at his job. And they unrolled that like Jericho unrolled the list of 1,000 holds. Just rolled across the court floor, I'm sure. Anyway, he's so bad at his job that a federal appeals court judge looked at him and went, no, they pretty much proved you're awful at your job. They pretty much proved you are too bad at your job to give a managerial position to. Now, I do not understand. Scratch that. I know exactly why. But Angel Hernandez gets to keep his job because of the Baseball Umpires Union, right? We talked about this with the Players Association before. Unions have to ask for 100 so that they get 70, right? Unions are always going to go above and beyond in their ask. It's negotiating 101. You're always going to go well past what you want in your ask so that you hope the walk back is to what you want. So they're not going to allow Major League Baseball to fire Angel Hernandez because that becomes the platform to fire other union members within that group. I get that. I understand that. I don't like it. I do love that MLB was able to go in front of a judge and prove that Angel Hernandez is so bad at his job that they just immediately throw out every court case he's brought against his employer, right? Angel Hernandez, by the way, in his last time out behind the plate, was calling a game in the Yankees-Marlins game that was the 13th, 3 days ago, so the 13th of August. Angel Hernandez missed 15 calls in that game. He was the day's lowest-rated umpire according to Umpire Auditor. He remains dead last in correct call rate this season. It was so bad that even the play-by-play guys were calling out how awful some of the calls were. Even the play-by-play guys were straight up saying that was not a strike. That was a bad call. That was like they were calling that is not a strike when their pitcher was throwing the ball. That's how bad that call was. But the good news for Angel Hernandez is that he is now not alone. In a game last night, Boston's Justin Turner was at the dish. Justin Turner was in a spot where he had stayed alive for 9 pitches. When you get to a double-digit at-bat in the pitch count, you've done a good job. Even if you take a K, you did a good job because you're running up the pitch count, right? Most pitchers are going to check out between 85 and 95 pitches thrown. Rarely you're going to see a guy go 95 to 101, 102. Very rarely you're going to see a guy go like 103 to 108, but that's it. So if you can work a 10-pitch AB, you have in one at-bat eaten up 10+% of that pitcher's pitch count for the day. That's good news. It means you're getting into the middle relievers. You're getting into the bullpen guys faster. And that's what you're looking for unless they're going to trot out like a Kenley Jensen. Anyway, Bruce Dreckman was behind the dish. Bruce Dreckman was calling balls and strikes. Bruce Dreckman made maybe the most egregious call of all time. It was so bad that even the play-by-play guys started going in. Incredible. That was the Boston Red Sox television crew talking about the fact that that call was egregiously bad, outstandingly. That pitch, listen, I get it. I get it. If we're talking about maybe he caught the black, maybe he caught the edge of the plate. That ball was, I am not exaggerating, 6 to 8 inches inside of the other batter's box. Both of the play-by-play teams for both teams, Boston and Washington, both their play-by-play teams were going off on how atrocious this call was. And it's just getting more and more and more popular and routine. It's got to get fixed. All the good baseball did with the rules changes, all the good baseball did by making the television broadcast better, all the good that baseball has done to make a better product is being ruined when guys are getting rung up on third strikes that are 7 inches off the plate. Bruce Dreckman should have been fired on the spot. That was the umpire equivalent of me opening up the mic and dumping an F-bomb right out of the gate. Lonzo, if I opened the show and said, "Welcome to the Rob Brown Show, bleep you," what do you think the reaction to that would be?
Well, first of all, I would dump you. Second of all, I would
the show would be over.
Yeah, well,
for the day at the very least, probably forever.
I probably would immediately go to network and
yeah,
I probably would. Do that.
That was that umpire looking into the microphone and going, "Bleep you." Let me get a phone call before we go to the break. I do not have access, though. Who we got?
We actually got a couple people hanging on.
Let's go.
Rick is up first.
Rick, welcome back to the show, big fella. Long time no hear. How you doing, partner?
I'm doing great. I just want to say, you deserve the award, you and Alonzo. Enjoy it, okay? Enjoy it as long as you can.
Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated. We're doing the best we can.
Number 2, I can't wait to hear you on the Burns football starting up.
Saturday night, we got a little high school football, baby.
And number 3 is Cole Bryson at Ingalls. Perfect for Saturday morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can't
I just
wait.
want to say y'all are doing a great job. I base my day around y'all so I can listen. Keep it up.
Rick, you're the best. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that, my man. Cole Bryson, Alex Guest every Saturday morning on the Saturday Morning Scramble. They'll get the occasional early morning groggy Rob Brown call in.
All right. I think you should go by alphabetical and go with Alex first over Cole. It should be Saturday Morning Scramble with Alex and Cole. I think Cole should be number 2.
It would be Cole Bryson.
No. It's first names. People don't use last names. I mean, come on.
Who else we got?
We have Kevin.
Kevin, welcome to the show, big dog. How you doing?
Thank you. And by the way, I want to tail end on that guy there. Congratulations, y'all deserve it.
Thank you, man. Very much appreciated.
I know you're in a rush, but thank you so much. I was one of the winners of tickets to AEW, and my wife and I had a blast. It was a great crowd. We got to watch Rob Brown in person, and he's pretty loud, even in a stadium atmosphere. But you had great seats, Rob. How'd you get those? But
I know a guy who knows a guy. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, the only bummer was when they put the cardboard sign in front of you, wasn't it? But you got a great picture off of that. So that was cool.
Dude, it was a good show. I had a good time. I'll just leave it at I had a great time.
The umpire situation. When are they going to make a decision and go to automated umpiring? I see it as a no-brainer. Who's involved in that decision process? And why is it every time I look at sports, Angel Hernandez is making bad calls?
Because he sucks.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations again.
Kevin,
Talk
thank
about
you,
it all
buddy.
you want.
I appreciate it, man. Good man. It's because he's bad at his job. Like, real bad at his job. Yes. Skynet says it's a strike. Skynet says it's the ball. We got to take a break. We're back to wrap this thing up on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. All right, sorry guys, had some fires to put out there. Hey, I'm Rob Brown. Bleep, you would put butts in the seats. Yes, it would. The seats would not be available for another ever.
All right, time to tell you what the X are. Ask what the X is going on, and Rob is going to tell you why. The first thing that's Xing is Barbie.
So Barbie continues to be a ridiculously profitable movie, maybe the most profitable movie since I don't know. It is absolutely shattering records. It has also led to unlimited quantities of parodies and memes and all that. I don't know why it's
all right. So it is just passed up The Dark Knight. It is the highest grossing movie for domestically for Warner Brothers of all time.
I would not be shocked if it threatens every. I would not be shocked if it threatens every box office record because it has been out 2 weeks now, and the theaters are still relatively.
No. There's some movies it's not going to touch.
I would be shocked. Scratch that. I would not be shocked if it threatens the top spot all time.
Well, we shall see. I hope it doesn't. I haven't seen it, but I hope it doesn't. But I just hope it doesn't because if I remember, the couple movies at the top are very big time nerd movies, and I'd hate to see them dethroned by Barbie.
I am not mad that the ladies have a movie for them that they are enjoying.
See, I can't speak on the movie because I haven't seen it. So I don't know what it's about other than it being Barbie and her coming into the real world. All right. The next thing that's Xing is Nick Wright.
I got nothing.
All right. Nick Wright is Xing because it's been brought out or leaked out or whatever that Skip will not work with Nick Wright.
Okay.
And that is making it's trending across the world.
I wonder why. Like, if there is one dude that I don't think gets the right to go, I'm not going to work with that guy because he's too Skip.
No, that's not it. From everything I saw, but it's just.
So what's the reason then?
There's no.
Probably because Nick
handed it to him and he didn't like that, supposedly.
Because Nick will be the guy that goes, oh, I'm sorry, Skip. Weren't you the same dude that told us all that Johnny Manziel was going to be bigger than LeBron James in Ohio? That's you making these predictions? I just want to make sure.
All right. The next thing is Xing is Deshaun Watson.
I got nothing on Deshaun either, other than he better get it together this year.
He is, from everything I saw, the reason why he's trending is because he's not doing well in practice either.
Yeah, Deshaun's not look good right now. Now, again, it's preseason, it's practice, but the excuse of he hasn't played football in X amount of months is not a valid one anymore.
That is true. And finally, the last thing that's Xing, and we could take a little bit on this, is Lacey Evans.
So Lacey Evans last night changed her social media handle to former WWE star known as Lacey Evans and changed her handle back to her real name. She also sent out a not so cryptic tweet that said, at the stroke of midnight, you will now refer to me as, and pasted her real name there as well. So it appears that friend of the show, Lacey Evans, is no longer.
All right, let me stop you there. Let me stop you there. Out of all the wrestlers and guests we've had on who were friends of the show, Lacey Evans, not a friend of the show. She just destroyed us the entire time.
I mean, I would say former guest of the show, Lacey Evans.
No, that was ask 2 questions and then she just
went off.
Yeah, she did, which was amazing, but that doesn't make her a friend, I don't think.
Yeah, I wasn't mad about it at all. So she's done with WWE, it would appear, which is, I'm sorry to say, it's fine. And I'm not happy with it. Doesn't appear she lost the job, but apparently she quit. I don't revel in people losing their jobs, but there are some times when you go, it just wasn't for you. That job was not for you. She had multiple chances, multiple opportunities, and just was never able to capitalize.
Who knows? Maybe she can go off and do a Cody Rhodes and find herself and return someday and be what people thought she could be.
Whoa! That's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Another one in the books. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Don't drink drive. I'll punch you in the face. We'll try to do it better on the Thursday edition of the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later. Yeah.
So I'm just going to show you where my finger is. You said that.
Did I really?
Yes.
Amazing.
And I was trying to decide.
Amazing.
Do I?
Amazing.
And because
Proud of me.
because I hesitated, yeah.
Is what it is. All right, dudes and dudettes, you're all amazing people. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow. Fight Club at 11:20. Rashad Beard to break down the Panthers at 9:40. And whatever else we stumble onto between here and there. Have a lovely day. If you know how to fix a TV, DM me. Bye.